LeBron James nearly walked away from the NBA without saying goodbye. After the final game of the season, he thought it might have been his final NBA game. But instead of stopping, he bet the final chapter of his career on Philadelphia. At 41 years old, LeBron is a four-time NBA champion, the league's all-time leading scorer, and he has played long enough to step onto an NBA court beside his own son. He could have walked away with nothing left to prove, but instead he chose the Sixers, a team that had not won an NBA championship in 43 years. Before LeBron ever played a single game in the NBA, the world was already calling him the Chosen One. 23 seasons later, what could Philadelphia possibly offer a man who had already won everything? Enough to make him keep going when he could have stopped with a perfect ending. LeBron had already given part of the answer. He still wanted to work, he still wanted to sacrifice, he still wanted to compete, and he still wanted to feel what it was like to win a championship again. That explains why he still wanted to play. But it does not explain why it had to be Philadelphia. Philadelphia was not home, not Akron, not Cleveland. There was no old promise waiting there for him to fulfill. So before we can understand this decision, we have to go back to the day the world began choosing for him. Back then, LeBron was still a high school basketball player from Akron, but his face was already on the cover of Sports Illustrated. Above him were three words: the Chosen One. Before his first NBA game, before the championships, before anyone knew whether he could carry all that weight, the world had already decided who he was supposed to become. Greatness was no longer only LeBron's dream. It had become something everyone was waiting for him to deliver. For 7 seasons in Cleveland, LeBron came close to a championship, but never reached it. Then, when he finally had the power to choose his own future, he chose Miami. In basketball terms, it gave him a better chance to win. But what followed was not just a better chance at a championship. His jerseys were burned, the boos grew louder, and the man who had once been Cleveland's hope became the villain almost overnight. The first time LeBron chose his own future, he gained freedom. But he also learned that choosing for yourself does not mean you get to control how the world sees you. In Miami, the question that had followed him for years was finally answered. LeBron James could become an NBA champion. 4 seasons, 4 trips to the NBA Finals, and 2 championships. The championship he had left Cleveland to chase was finally in his hands. But instead of staying with the team that had made him a champion, LeBron walked away and went back to the city whose fans had once burned his jerseys. He did not return to Cleveland because he still wondered whether he was good enough to win. Miami had already answered that question. But winning somewhere else could not close what was still unfinished at home. So LeBron returned with a clear purpose: to bring a championship back to Northeast Ohio. 2 years later, Cleveland trailed in the NBA Finals 3-1, but they fought all the way back to Game 7. Late in the game, LeBron chased an opponent down from behind and blocked what looked like an easy layup at the rim. Then the final buzzer sounded. Cleveland's 52-year wait was over. LeBron collapsed to the floor and cried. The kid from Akron had come back and done the thing an entire region had once hoped he would do. If LeBron's career had ended there, almost no one could have asked for a more complete story. But he kept going. He won another championship. He broke the league's all-time scoring record, and he shared the court with Bronny, making them the first father-son duo to play together in NBA history. Even a dream that did not belong only to a basketball player, but to a father, had come true. A championship for Northeast Ohio, the league's all-time scoring record. His son standing beside him on the same court. LeBron did not need to wait for the game to tell him when it was time to stop. He could have chosen to walk away while the final image was still beautiful. Then came the final game of the season. The buzzer sounded. LeBron walked off the court the way he always had. No farewell tour, no retirement ceremony, and no one knew they might have just seen the final game of his career. Later, LeBron admitted that in that moment, he truly thought he might be done. He had to go back and ask himself whether he still loved the game. If the answer was no, no one could have blamed him, because he owed the game nothing more. Then came Philadelphia. LeBron said he did not choose Philadelphia for the money, and he did not choose it because his family wanted him to. He chose it because he still wanted to work, to sacrifice, to compete, and because he believed he could help this team become a champion. In LeBron's eyes, this team was good enough to make hope feel real. But the Sixers had not won a championship since 1983. Their fans had been waiting for 43 years. And as LeBron entered his 24th season at 41 years old, this team still had a chance. These fans were still waiting. And with so little time left, nothing was guaranteed. Miami was the place he went to prove he could become a champion. Cleveland was the place he returned to so he could finish what had been left undone. But Philadelphia was not a past he had to repair. It was not a promise he had to keep. And it was not a place where he needed to prove himself again. There was only a team that still had a chance. Sixers fans who were still waiting. And no one knew whether there would be enough time. Before his first game, the world chose a name for him, the Chosen One. Before his 24th season, LeBron chose for himself. Not a farewell, not the safe ending, but one more beginning. Philadelphia. Human Pattern Stories. LeBron James.